evening, Vince. How are you tonight?
I'm doing all right, JoLo. How are you?
I'm doing real good, man. I'm doing real good. We got the JoLo Show episode 14 this week. We are a bouncing baby teenager of a podcast, I guess. And things are a little bit different on the JoLo Show. We've been evolving the brand as usual and moving things forward. So this week, we did the Brand Speaks just before recording this show. And the Brand Speaks to become a place for the brand to get a chance to get in some Vince time. So as opposed to getting questions every week from the brand, which I'll still do, I'll probably still mix a few in here, as opposed to getting just questions every week, you and I are going to have a more straightforward chat. We're going to have a nice, non-wrestling, heart-to-heart about whatever comes across our minds. Maybe current events will come in there, maybe television, pop culture, you know, how we used to do. You know,
let's do it.
But basically, yeah. So Vince, let's jump in and to talk a little bit about what's been going on this week. Now, we talked about last week's Bruce Jenner interview on the Brand Speaks, and so we basically got a lot of thoughts out about that, about the state of celebrity media and this and that. But are there any thoughts maybe that you wanted to address on this show that you didn't get a chance to talk about on the Brand Speaks regarding Bruce Jenner?
No, you know, bro, like I said, listen, when I first saw the interview, I immediately went on Twitter and I said it was very strange, but I said what he's doing is extremely difficult, and I can't even imagine being in his shoes. And I also put over the fact that I said he was brave. I think it takes a lot of guts doing what he's doing. I don't have any problem saying that. And then the next night, you know, we were in the middle of a very boring pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So in an effort to entertain myself, I said if it were up to me, I'd book Bruce Jenner in an intergender match and I'd put Jenner over. I mean, bro, it's like how could and then, bro, the hate started pouring in.
Oh,
and I'm sitting here like, and I'm like, are you kidding me? How could anybody find the corniest joke in the world offensive?
No.
It was a corny, really bad joke, a play off the intergender match. And it just boggles my mind, like, Joe, like, as a society, I wrote a blog about this, like, early in the week. You know, bro, the politically correctiveness, when, Joe, like, you got to watch, you know, every single word you say. I've had enough with it. It's like I'm not going to sit here and offend anybody and be mean-spirited to anybody or any race or any sex or any religion. I wouldn't even dream of doing that. But when it gets to the point of, you know, you're making a harmless joke, you know, a bad joke at that, to just be corny and entertain, and people are jumping all over that, bro, it kind of just gets to the point of it being ridiculous, where, you know, we have to watch every single word. Like, one of the things I said, you know, in my column was then ban Don Rickles from playing casinos. I mean, why is Don Rickles allowed to play casinos, for crying out loud?
Or why is Lisa Lampanelli allowed to have a career
bro,
whatsoever?
It's like we gotta lighten up. Like, when something's said in humor, you know, to make people laugh and break tension, and nothing vicious or hurtful is meant. We got to relax, bro, you know?
I do, man. And it is a sign of the times. That's what I'm going to tell you. It's a sign of the times that in this day and age, people, the exposure that the internet has given us and the exposure that everybody has to everything means that when you feel that your sensibilities have been offended, you now have the ability and, as far as you see it, the right to speak up. But where the line is drawn is you do not have the right to be appeased to by an artist, especially one that's coming from the heart and just trying to make people laugh, cry, whatever. You know, as a person who is creating something, Vince, or commenting on something, when you throw a joke out there, it's a sad state of affairs that you have to apologize for that joke. First of all, it wasn't offensive. There was nothing offensive about that joke. But to feel like you need to police yourself, I think that's a little bit much. There are people who will look out to be offended. They will try to be offended, and then they will have they'll just paint with a broad brush anything you say and do from that point forward. There was a guy who had an opinion of me on this show, and he was like, "Oh, JoLo's bad. There's something wrong with JoLo." And he, no matter what I did, he would have that opinion, man. So those people, you're not going to change them. They're trying to change you to make their world a better place. But what they don't understand is that's not your job. They cannot listen to you if they don't want to hear what you have to say. They can turn the channel, they can close the book. But nowadays, more than ever, people can let people know when they don't like what they see for whatever reason. And that. So from me to you, man, don't give it the time of day. The time and energy you put into the blog post is either it's energy they don't care about at all. And the people who do care just want to see you be more yourself.
Yeah.
Just want to see you be more yourself. And that number grows every day, dog. So there's really not much to worry about there.
Yeah. Yeah, I just, JLo, I just, I don't know, bro. And you're right. You are dead on 1,000% right. But I mean, bro, when you're trying to entertain compared to really being nasty and ugly and saying something in a racial or racially related, I don't even know how you could put two in the same category. But no, you're right, bro. 100%. But I do want to say this, and I do want to make this perfectly clear. And I've said this, JoLo, bro. Listen, I could never imagine what that guy's going through. I'm not going to sit here and say I do. I'd have to be insane.
Only he can imagine that.
Only he can imagine, bro. It's all life experiences. There's so much. It's the path that the guy walked. But I will say, and that's why I said it right away, I think he's brave doing what he's doing. It takes a lot of guts, bro. You know what I mean?
It definitely does. One of my pet peeves is when someone says, "Oh, I know how you feel," because you really don't. Like unless you've lived that person's life up to that point, you've seen what they've seen, and you have the same brain chemistry as them. You have no idea how anybody feels about anything.
Yeah.
Even if they tell you, you still have no idea if that's the truth or not.
And JoLo, that was the feeling of strangeness because, like, bro, I've been interviewing so many people lately because I'm going on the trip, and that's why, like, I'm tired and I know I look tired. But JoLo, these interviews are draining to me because, like, I really get into it. You know?
Well, you are the Oprah of interviews. We said it on the show.
But JoLo, I got to tell you this: once I start interviewing these people, I have a good handle with what they went through, why they reacted the way they do. I have a good handle for it. Once I hear the story, I'm like, oh, now I get it. But I was sitting there with Jenna, and I was trying to do the same thing, JoLo. I was trying to really understand. I'm gonna zone in and really try to understand because it's interesting to me, bro. I don't look at him as a freak or it's interesting to me. But I think that's why I walked away with the strange feeling because I couldn't relate to or understand any of it.
Yeah, man. And it's one of those things where, maybe 20, 30, 40 years ago, this kind of news wouldn't be news. He'd be crazy and swept under the rug for being crazy. And he'd be prosecuted or killed. It is nice that we live in a day and age where someone can talk about this without the fear of just being flat out called crazy.
Right.
So it's not being able to relate though. Maybe that's the one good thing about this show is it gives you one glimpse in at one person's experience. And it's just the one, so you don't know how good compared to other people's transitions. Was this good or bad? Is it smooth or not? But interesting, of course.
Yeah, no, absolutely interesting. I mean, I'm fascinated by the whole thing, bro, because it is different.
Yeah,
and I do want to understand it, and bro, I'd be lying if I told you I wasn't interested in what happens to him.
Yeah, dude. There's been some pretty interesting stuff in the news as of late. I don't want to get into the news too much because as of late, it's definitely been a little bit heavy though. First, the one thing I do want to say is thoughts and prayers go out to the people in Baltimore. Everybody. It's a messy situation. There's nothing easy about what's happening there. I've been trying. I usually am a very apolitical person. I don't usually pay much attention to the party lines and voting in who's in what state and this and that. The only thing I really care about is people. And right now, if you're looking in any direction, all you can see is everything points toward Baltimore, and every story coming out of it is as complicated and crazy sounding as the last one. So, to anybody that we know who's listening, who's in Baltimore, please take care of yourself. Do your part to help your neighbor, but please be safe and take care while you're doing that. So that's really as far as I want to get into that too much. But phew, all right. Let's talk a little bit about late night television. Do you want? You are a couple hours behind me, so by the time it's late night television for you, I'm already in La La Land. Do you have any late night shows that you catch up on, Vince?
Nah, you know what, bro? I really don't. Like, I might go through the TV listings, and if I see a guest I like, I might tune in to see the interview with that guest. But I'm not like a Letterman guy or a Fallon guy or a Kimmel guy. I'm not. I don't know why, bro. I mean, but I'm just not.
I'm with you, dude. I can't do Letterman, Fallon, Kimball. It's Leno back in the day, Conan. That style of late night show, the come out and do a monologue and then just have a string of guests. I never got into that show. Like, even as great of a personality and a pop culture figure as Carson was, I just never got into that style of entertainment. If I was going to watch a show that was anything like that, I'd be watching like the Dean Martin variety show where he'd come out and tell a couple jokes, then he'd sing a song, then he'd do a dance, then he'd do a skit. I liked the full Monty. I didn't just want, oh, here comes out this yokel and he's going to tell a couple lame jokes that he and his writers came up with in the back room, and then he's going to go interview the latest star of this TV. I don't care. The one late night show that I will watch, though, diligently, and I don't watch it late at night, I watch it the following day, The Daily Show. Were you ever a fan of Jon Stewart's work on that?
I'm not. He's very funny, bro, and he makes me laugh when I watch it. But again, bro, it's a newsy show. It's like Colbert. I love Colbert, but the show it's newsy, it's political. That's not for me. I mean, it's just not.
It is.
But those guys, Colbert, they're genius.
It is the one way that I keep up with the news of the world, besides just the occasional headlines popping off on Facebook or what have you, because I had to hide the trending topics on Facebook because sometimes it's just so incredibly depressing to see that the most talked about things on Facebook are some of the most horrible things happening in the world. Now, I don't try to sweep horrible things happening under the rug per se, a little bit, but to get that constant stream of tragedy can be very, very rough on people's psyches. So you really have to kind of pick and choose how you want to address the tough stuff going on in the world. And when you can get overwhelmed by it, learning how to manage your Facebook feed, learning how to pick the right shows to watch and the right things to do, that really goes a long way. And so, with the Baltimore situation and with what's been going on, I've been trying my best to keep the feed good. And The Daily Show is definitely one way that I've been doing that. It's really the only news show that I watch. It's a half an hour. Boom. Half an hour of what's good and what's interesting. And that's it. With jokes. So if you're going to digest it, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So this week, let's talk about your trip coming up, Vince. Where you're going to Germany and where else?
Bro, it's so confusing, JoLo. And I got to tell you, the people overseas, bro, I got to be honest with you, they're horrible about making your reservations and making you feel comfortable.
Huh.
JoLo, the first thing is, bro, imagine this, JoLo.
Okay.
Have you ever had to deal with this before?
Going overseas?
Yeah.
I've been overseas a few times, yeah, but not to Europe.
I don't know if you've ever experienced this. This is the first thing off the bat. Now, listen,
Okay.
I'm 54. I'm very set in my ways.
Right.
It's a big thing for me to get on a plane for 14 hours.
Oh, yes, definitely.
It's a big thing, bro. I mean, this is my comfort zone right here.
I understand.
So, bro, the first thing they do is they book me from Germany to Atlanta to Dusseldorf. Okay? JoLo, now imagine this. So here I am, like, it's far away.
Oh, yeah.
Bro. You know what I'm saying? So, bro, how do you think I feel when the first thing that happens is they send me my itinerary there, to get to Dusseldorf? Bro, the entire itinerary is in German. I can't read. I can't read a word of it. So I'm like, how can you guys say I don't read German? How am I, bro? The entire thing is in German. So it's like, guys, I'm American. You have to know that going in. And then JoLo, supposedly, like I don't even. It's like I'm gonna kind of worry about it when I get there. But somehow I'm supposed to then go from Dusseldorf to London, from London to Glasgow, back to London, and then eventually return home. And like I don't even JoLo, the part from London to Glasgow back to London, like I don't even have my reservation for that yet.
Wow.
So like I'm banking that they have all that under control. But
Just
it's like,
ride the
bro,
wave, man.
Yeah, they make, and the JoLo. Here's another thing, bro. Let me see how you feel about this.
Hit me.
They're paying me like, they're paying me they're paying me good money, JoLo.
Right,
I don't have an issue saying that, but a lot of the talent, JoLo, when they go overseas because it is so far away, bro, the way the boys are, they're not going to go overseas and get ripped off. They want their money up front. That's the way a lot of the guys work, right? So me being a nice guy, I'm like, okay, I want half my money. Send me half my money. Then I do my job. You send me the other half, right?
Right.
So, bro, they go through PayPal. I tell them to go through PayPal, right? So the first thing that happens, bro, is they're supposed to give me X amount of dollars. I guess somehow in there with with the transaction through PayPal, I lose $80 in the process.
Bro.
I guess it's PayPal fees, whatever it is. But I'm like, guys, you don't understand. I'm not losing this $80. This ain't on me. So I keep emailing them back. Well, you're gonna add $80 on the balance when I get there, right? They don't answer me, bro. Right, bro. Then I find this out, JoLo, and I know you have more experience with this than me, but the transaction comes in from Germany, right? JoLo, do you know that I can't touch that money and I can't transfer that money over into my bank account for 21 days?
I didn't know it was so long. I figured it might have a hold based on the amount. I don't know. Again, if it's a decent amount, they probably have a hold on it. International transfer.
Yeah. So now, bro, what happened was I wind up losing $80. Now I have to still wait for the money when I get home and I've already done it. So I wound up telling the guys, you know what? I'm going to cancel the transaction. I'm going to refund you the money. When I get there, you just pay me there on the spot in full. And I have to hope that they're on the uppity up and that happens. But that's what makes me so nervous, bro. Like everything is, it's just so shaky to me, And bro, the thing about Germany too is like London was so easy, JLo, because everything's in English. It's so easy. But bro, when you go to that German airport, it's German everywhere.
Yeah,
I mean,
you need to bring
everything
a buddy.
on the yeah, bro, everything is written in German. Like when you got to go to the baggage claim, I can't read what the baggage claim is.
I have got first of all, two things. One, during the last Brand Speaks show, people were asking me if they should call me JLo or JoLo.
I called you JLo a couple times again.
Like 3 or 4 times during the show.
That rolls off the tongue. It rolls off the
I
tongue.
know, believe me, I do. But anyways, first of all, that. Second of all, there's an app I want to give you for your phone. I think it's called Word Lens. And what it is it's a camera app that you hold up on your phone. And
Really?
when you look at words, it translates them in real time from whatever language it's in to your language, and it keeps them in place. So when you hold it up to a sign that's in German, you'll just see the letters on the sign rearranged to English.
Bro, I need that. That's tremendous.
Not
man.
even joking. It works pretty good. It really does,
bro.
especially in like an airport or a hotel.
Yeah, I definitely need that, bro. That's awesome.
I'll send that your way, man. There's a lot of really cool tools that are like that'll help you navigate around. But maybe, I don't know much about this German promotion. Would you consider them like a German indie promotion?
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Well, then,
Yeah,
maybe
without doubt.
that's just what you're working with, dude. It's that good old unpolished spit shine of working with an independent promotion.
But then I did find out, though, bro. I did find out like that. It's kind of a. I guess it's a big convention of theirs.
Oh, that'll be good.
Yeah, so then I started seeing like other familiar names. Like I saw James Storm was going to be there, and like that I was excited about that. But then he kind of also mentioned to me in passing today that Sean Waltman is going to be there.
Ah.
And bro, listen, I love Sean Waltman, and I've always had a great relationship with Waltman. I think he got upset with me like over the China interview. But bro, I mean, not for anything, and I'll tell Sean when I see him, bro, I can't control what China says.
Yeah, I
I
mean, I think he would agree with you, man. I don't,
yeah, I
I don't
mean,
think he's gonna have a hatchet to bury based
yeah, I
on the
mean,
China
if I'm
interview.
interviewing China and she has things to say, that's China. That's not Vince Russo. And bro, like I said, I didn't go over the interview with her. I didn't know what she was going to say.
That's true.
So if his heat is with me, it's misdirected because I don't know how you could be upset with me over things she said, but whatever, we'll cross that bridge.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll be fine, dude. I think that by this point, any waves that she made with anybody but the Federation have like that ship has already sailed to really get mad. Anybody who was really close to Joni probably knows the actual depth of the world that she's crawling through at this moment. And so, if you've got real beef with somebody who's going through something like that, you need to check yourself, really. And so hopefully, not even hopefully, dude, you're gonna be fine. I mean, you're gonna be good.
I got to tell you, JoLo, it was like a little like I ran into a situation today. I just had D'Amato on the show.
Yeah,
right?
yes, you did.
And Bill is a good friend of mine, and I only know through my experiences with Bill. He was always a stand-up guy, the whole thing. Well, bro, when I interviewed Evilise today, and bro, I don't know any of this going in, but as the interview progressed, she had some issues with Bill DeMott.
Oh.
So it's like, okay, I interviewed Bill. Bill said everything that Bill wanted to say. Well, now I'm interviewing Evilise, and she had some issues, and she's talking about those issues. But like in the seat I'm in, bro, it's not up to me to say who's right and who's wrong and who I'm siding with and who I'm siding against. That's not what I do. But again, it's like I don't know how I could be accountable for things other people say. That's their story, man.
Yeah, Vince, based on just the interactions that you and I have had, I know that your hosting skill is good enough not to throw all of your eggs, into one basket. You're not going to have Bill DeMott come on and say, yeah, and forget all these kids who are lying about you and making stuff up because everything you say is true. And you're not going to go to Evilise the next day and go, yeah, forget Bill DeMott. What a horrible guy who does terrible things. You're going to know how to walk that line and how to have a meaningful conversation without burying someone and with, focusing on the more important thing, which is why you're having the discussion. Whether it's Bill DeMott you're talking to, Evilise, whether they're talking about each other or not, it's how you frame the discussion is everything. Yeah. And so
I did kind of jump on JoLo. I was a little guilty. I am guilty yesterday of jumping on the Barry Robbie E bandwagon with Brooke Adams because, like, bro, how do you break up with a Brooke Adams? I mean, I'm sorry, bro. I'm gonna cut a promo on you till the cows come home.
I don't know, man. Maybe she farts in her sleep.
Even if, bro, even if. I mean, come on, man.
So yeah, it's very easy to jump on the haterade bandwagon, dude. It's so easy, but at the same time, it takes real class to make fun of somebody like who doesn't even see it coming. Yeah, right. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's that being said, my train of thought has completely left the station. What were we talking about? Late night TV. We were talking about haterade. The trip. All right, I got a quick lesson for you. Ready? It's pronounced Doo-Sell-Dorf. Like
I say Dusseldorf.
You said Dusseldorf, like it's a duffel bag. It's Dusseldorf.
Okay, I gotta remember that. Okay.
And if you want to really impress the guys in Scotland, don't say Glasgow, say Glahs-Go.
Oh, I'll never be able to say that, bro.
Glahs-Go.
That's way too hard for me, bro. Glasgow.
Glahs-Go. That's it. Glahs-Go. It's believe me. I met two kids from Scotland when I was a space camp counselor, and they're two great guys. One's a radio DJ in Glasgow, and I said, "Okay, where are you guys from?" And they go, "Oh, it's Scotland." And I went, "Oh, so where are you in relationship to Glasgow?" And they go, "Oh, mate, it's Glasgow." And I was like, "Oh, excuse me, it's Glasgow, Glasgow, Glasgow." And so from that point on, I've never forgotten Glasgow, Glasgow. It's pronounced Glasgow. Ugh.
And bro, that has to be like one of the hardest accents to understand too. Those guys. I mean, Grado, bro. I struggle so hard with having a conversation with him, bro. I really do.
I speak Grado, and I think it's because I've watched just enough BBC television, and I've seen just enough character, and I actually got my introduction to Grado from this fantastic Vice documentary.
Bro, he sent that to me. He keeps telling me to watch it, but I haven't been able to watch it yet.
Bro, it's a two-parter that tells his story, and as far as intros to Grado goes, immediately I fell in love with the guy. I didn't watch one of his matches. I'd never seen one, but just looking at this sort of grassroots, he went to a bunch of shows. He made himself some gear, and then one day they let him jump the barrier, and that was it. Like, he was immediately lit up. Yeah. It tells a great story.
Yeah.
Grado is the current like indie wrestler story that I want people to hear about. If Daniel Bryan was the big indie wrestler star that came up through ROH and did everything like that, Grado has got to be the next big name. In maybe not internationally, but I'm just glad that where he's at, he's got the popularity he's got. He deserves every dime of it. What a worker!
Yeah. I gotta watch that documentary, bro. I really do.
What a worker! And for everybody watching too, Vice documentaries. The British Wrestler is the name of the documentary. It is fantastic look into the world of IPW UK. A little bit about what Grado does. If you've heard Grado or on Vince's stuff and you've seen him around. Just what a class act. What a class act.
So they cover IPW UK in that?
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Do you see the promoter Daniel Elder?
I don't know. I don't remember. I watched it many months ago.
Okay,
like about a year ago I watched it, and Grado was the main standout thing for me. It's only about 45 minutes long. The whole thing. It's barely even an hour. So it's a worthy watch, though. Definitely. Anybody who likes wrestling documentaries, you want to learn something about the way they do it overseas, you got to see this show. Another great wrestling documentary that I watched, actually, and I don't know if this is on the network, but I watched a Finn Balor documentary about his time in Japan and his training in Japan. And it showed videos of him in the house he lived in Japan with the guys he trained with, the way that they trained, the way that they think, the way that Japanese wrestling works compared to a North American professional wrestling, and just getting a chance to see that sort of that fraternity style of training. And it's less about doing the road. Here it's always about the road. In indie wrestling, you're going from one town to the next. There, and I think a lot in the UK too, and in Ireland, there it's much more focused on the local federation. You're not necessarily going everywhere. You're not covering too much ground compared to the US. That it's that local fraternity feel of the local fed that really gets bumped up in those environments. And so I don't know much about Japan's indie scene. I really only hear about New Japan. I know they have a decent hardcore scene if I cared about hardcore wrestling, but I gotta say that I've seen a couple of things recently that have been pretty informative and entertaining, that have been taking me around some of the other stories going on in and around the wrestling business. So
yeah,
it's been good stuff. I've also been keeping up with a little bit of television. I know we talked a little bit about late night television. I don't want to talk too much more about it. But you're a Netflix guy, Vince, right? You watch a couple Netflix shows?
I watch a couple of Netflix shows. Really not, bro. No, no. I
Okay,
mean,
right.
I'll watch movies on Netflix, but not original shows on Netflix.
All right. How about just TV shows in general on Netflix?
Yeah.
Okay. This two that I've been watching, very diametrically opposed shows. And I'm not even. I bet it's funny. I bet you're gonna not like either of them. Well, you might like one of them. First, I think I've asked you how you like 30 Rock. You weren't necessarily a fan of it.
I don't like that.
Not really, no. Well,
bro, I think this is my opinion. I think Tina Fey is so overrated.
Yeah.
I think, bro, because she was a woman, she in that industry, I think she got all the pub and all the attention. She's an attractive woman at that. So, the attractive woman with the brains, it's very, very marketable. But, bro, she's not like the kind of writer or, comedian or actress that just, that makes me laugh. I mean, I've watched 30 Rock. I've listened to the dialogue, and it's not funny to me.
30 Rock and Tina Fey reminds me a lot of another female comedian, Amy Poehler, the lady from Parks and Recreation.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Sort of the same cloth, cut from that sort of same style. I adore it. I eat it up. And there's something that Tina Fey has, this weird, absurd quality to some of her writing that comedy writing, like, okay, there's comedy writing that you would get on something like The Big Bang Theory, which is my ruler for the worst show on television. As a nerd and as a comedy thinker, The Big Bang Theory is like the lowest common denominator of comedy, and it's because the jokes contain what you might think is the roadmap to great comedy: a reference, a character-driven delivery, and timing. But when you watch The Big Bang Theory, it's like, okay, you're suddenly playing T-ball. Okay, there's the setup for the joke, there's the joke, and we hit it, play the laugh track, on to the next joke. Tina Fey, you really never know what direction the comedy is going to completely come from, whether it's visual or a flashback or a dream sequence or a song. And I like that unpredictability. I like that from 1 minute to the next. You're never really sure how reality is going to handle like what's happening in it. It reminds me of Airplane and like a Zucker Brothers movie, but not quite as crazy. They went over the edge. They started to do Scary Movie. I lost touch with the Zucker Brothers. But Airplane is the funniest movie that's ever been made, ever. Period. I think you'll agree with me on that, right?
Yeah, a funny movie, yeah.
Absolutely the funniest movie I think I've ever seen. I could watch it over and over again. I'll laugh every time. So I have been watching on Netflix the new Tina Fey show. I was going to mention it to you, but I don't think you're going to like it. Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. Pretty good show. The other show...
My daughter watches that, but she's a Tina Fey fan.
Okay, fair enough. If you're a Tina Fey fan, it's just like 30 Rock. So if you didn't like 30 Rock, you're not going to like it. Secondly, you got to check out Daredevil. Now,
good.
It is. It's a superhero show, but he doesn't have superpowers like Superman, like shooting stuff out of his hands and all that. So it feels more like you're watching Batman because it's grounded in reality. It's violent. It's got Vincent D'Onofrio, one of the greatest actors of his generation, of several generations, actually. Pile. The casting is great. The writing is good. Very mature for a superhero show, and it doesn't feel like boring. There's never been a boring episode of the show so far. If you like action and you like drama and a little bit of violence, like this is the future of like superhero order up television season of a superhero show. This is what it should be like to watch, in my opinion. Because right now you've got Marvel and DC duking it out for TV. You've got The Flash over here, and you've got Arrow, which is all DC Comics, and you've got Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and you've got Daredevil, which is all Marvel, and Marvel is clearly doing a better job. So I'm looking forward to these superhero shows that are all coming out and showing up on Netflix. As a nerd and as just a guy who likes TV in general, I like superhero shows.
What about though? What about Gotham? I mean, Gotham on the other side with DC. That doesn't bring it up a notch.
You know what's funny is I've never seen Gotham, and I've heard the. Here's the only critique that I've heard of Gotham. It's not as good as Daredevil. That's what the people I know who have really dedicated themselves to watching a lot of the superhero stuff. They've seen Gotham and they say Gotham's all right. And when something big happens, they go, "Oh, finally the show's picking up." But everyone who's seen Gotham has seen Daredevil, and they all agree Daredevil is better than Gotham. I don't know what makes it so yet. I'm working on figuring that out. But one of my theories is this: DC Comics has a tendency to go back and tell you the beginning of just about every story that
over
they
and over and over and over and over again.
Over and over again. And when they don't, when they just assume you know it, it never works out very well. They jump in too far, they get too insider. Marvel though can give you a story that's in progress and still fold you into the events smoothly and make you feel like you're like along for the ride. So when I look at Gotham, it's like, oh, great, now we're telling another origin story. Just like Smallville was Superman before he's Superman. Now we've got Batman before he's Batman. What's next? Like we had the Green Arrow before he was the Green Arrow. That show did pretty good. That was Arrow. And then you had the Flash, but that was an origin story that jumped in too hard, you know? Crash, bang, boom. So Marvel's just got this weird momentum. They're like a train that's just been on the same track for a while, and they don't need to go to any other tracks. They don't need to speed up. They don't need to slow down. They're perfect. They're moving exactly in the right direction. DC though, stop, start, new passengers, new cars, change tracks. They just can't get ahead of steam going. And I think they're going to lose this little multimedia battle going on.
Yeah.
So we all know Batman's your favorite superhero, Vince. Who's your least favorite superhero? Thor?
Thor and it's like a tie between Thor and Submariner. As a matter of fact, I'm putting up that. I think that's going to be tomorrow's swerve. Jason Aaron.
Yeah, I heard you were doing
and
the interview.
I called him out and I told him he's the guy that writes for Thor. And I told him, I said Thor is not a superhero.
Did you ask him about CM Punk's involvement with Thor?
Yeah, we talked about that. We talked about CM Punk's involved. Bro, listen, it's very, very interesting, his insights into wrestling and the way that when he watches the WWE, their character development compared to his character development. They're really, really interesting insights, bro.
Wow, this is now an interview I will have to see.
It made me say, seriously, bro, after I listened to him talk, I said, you know how, bro, the WWE is, always we're going to hire Hollywood writers? When I listened to Jason Aaron, I said, bro, they literally need to hire comic book writers.
Yeah, or
just honestly,
writers.
Seriously, you want to develop characters, those are the guys.
I agree, and we've talked and we've mentioned 1,000 times how the WWE can solve their problem, firing 17 out of 20 people, and then making sure those last 3 guys are comic book writers, or they've written for fiction before, they've done character development before, they're not fresh out of school from Full Sail here to write wrestling for the first time because they thought it'd be fun.
Yep.
You need people who've done it before, who've got it down, and that's why, even though we haven't heard about Billy Corgan's great fiction writing skills, at least it's something different.
Right.
So good luck, TNA, with that. Great job getting Jason Aaron for that interview. I have got to listen to that interview.
You're a great
tomorrow.
guy, bro. I mean, bro, so I told him, I said, Jason, the funny thing is, I said, they call them comic books. And I'm like, bro, you're a freaking genius. I mean, it's like you got to be a genius to write comic books. I said, bro, they got to think of a better name.
Graphic novels.
Yeah, bro, the guy's a genius. I mean, he's on a whole different level, but it just makes me, everybody says comic books. Well, it's the furthest thing from that, bro,
Yeah, dude. I've been reading my Japanese comics, my manga lately. I'm reading one now that's about 700 chapters long. I'm on chapter 250, something like that. It's like committing yourself to a TV show or a super long book. It's good stuff, though. The mythology is just too good. Too good. So, Vince, I'm going to wrap up the JoLo show here, though. It was a nice, quick fireside chat. Me and you, just like old times, and we'll do it again. We're not going to do it again next week, though. I'm going to get a different guest on the show. So this will air next week, but tomorrow I'm going to record with somebody completely different. It'll be fantastic. Up right now, though, will be the JoLo show that we recorded last week, so I hope everybody enjoys that. Thank you all for listening. Vince, you have any final words you want to throw out there?
No, it's just JoLo. You and Jeff Lane, you gotta, hop in the front seat of that car, bro, and drive it down the lane. With Realm Network. Keep doing what we're doing.
I forgot the monologue from the Blues Brothers, but that's me and Jeff. For the next week at least, all right?
Yep. And as always, bro, I appreciate everything you do.
Oh, thanks, man. So you've heard it here. You heard it here, Brand. You're gonna get me and the Joe and Jeff Lane show for a little bit of time while Vince is out in Doo-Sell-Dorf doing his thing and having fun trying to figure out how to get from Dusseldorf to London to Glahs-Go and then back again. Thanks, Vince. Thanks for spending some time on Thursday night. We'll see you after your trip. Take it easy.
Take care, bro.